Hey everyone, welcome to the deep dive. It feels like the world is changing so fast these days, right?
It really does.
Well, we are going to be taking a look at how AI is impacting the Australian real estate market.
Uh-huh.
Because believe me, it is already happening. So
Yeah.
buckle up.
Yeah. For this deep dive, you shared a collection of articles with us.
Yeah.
And one thing that really jumped out at me is how AI is not just this like futuristic concept
Oh,
anymore.
yeah.
It's actually like making waves right now.
Okay, so first things first, AI real estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that even a thing?
Oh, it's definitely a thing. And it's more than just answering basic questions.
Okay.
There are AI agents out there. Like one example is Grace,
Okay.
developed by Barry Plant,
Mm-hmm.
that can actually schedule viewings.
Wow.
Answer property-specific questions, even write up those like flowery property descriptions.
Yeah.
And they're doing it 24/7.
So theoretically, I could be house hunting at like 3 a.m. in my pajamas and still have a conversation with an AI agent about a listing. That's both amazing and a little creepy.
Yeah, it is a pretty big shift.
Yeah.
What's really interesting, I think, is how this impacts both sides of the transaction.
Okay.
So for sellers, it means their property is essentially showcased constantly.
Right.
There are no more missed opportunities because a potential buyer couldn't reach an agent, during business hours.
It makes sense. But would I really trust an AI to handle something as important as like buying or selling a home?
Sure.
I mean, it's not like ordering takeout.
It is a valid question, and the technology is still evolving.
Yeah.
But think about all the data that AI can actually analyze.
Mm-hmm.
Things like market trends,
Yeah.
comparable properties, even things like school zones and local amenities
Right.
that impact a property's value.
So it's not just about convenience. AI could actually help me make a smarter decision.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
finding the perfect property, that's
Right.
usually the biggest hurdle, right?
Yeah.
AI is getting really good at personalized property matching,
Okay. So we're not just talking about those basic filters on real estate websites, right?
right? AI digs much deeper. It analyzes your preferences. So budget, location, even things like your lifestyle needs,
Wow.
to suggest properties that you might not even find on your own.
So it's more like having a super-powered search engine that actually learns what I'm looking for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the more you interact with it, the more refined those suggestions become.
Okay.
Imagine cutting through all the noise of irrelevant listings
Right.
and going straight to properties that tick all your boxes.
That would be amazing. Less time scrolling, more time actually picturing myself in the perfect place.
Exactly.
But what about seeing the properties? Is AI going to replace actually going to open houses?
Not necessarily replace, but it's definitely changing how we view properties.
Okay.
So AI is powering things like virtual staging,
Mhm.
where an empty room can be virtually furnished, and even augmented reality experiences.
Hold on, augmented reality, like in those video games. How does that work with real estate?
It's pretty cool.
Mm.
Imagine using your phone or tablet to walk through a property and then use augmented reality to see what different paint colors would look like,
Oh,
or even visualize how different furniture would fit in this space.
that would be so helpful. I'm terrible at visualizing things, so that would make such a difference.
And for sellers, it's a game changer too.
How so?
No more staging costs,
Yeah.
just a digitally enhanced presentation that allows potential buyers to really see themselves living there.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. I read that AI can actually predict property values.
Yeah,
Is that science fiction or is this really happening?
it's happening, and it's based on hard data.
Okay.
AI can analyze historical trends, current market conditions,
Uh-huh.
and even factors like infrastructure projects or changes in zoning to predict how property values might fluctuate.
So it's not just about finding a nice place to live, it's about making a smart investment.
Right.
But is AI actually reliable when it comes to predictions?
Well, it's important to remember that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it has its limitations.
Right.
AI predictions are based on the data it's fed,
Hmm.
and that data can change.
Yeah.
But what's exciting is how AI can analyze massive amounts of data to spot patterns and trends that humans might miss.
Okay.
It's about providing more information, more insights to make more informed decisions.
So it's not about replacing human expertise, it's about enhancing it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so AI can help me find a property, visualize it, even figure out if it's a good investment. What about all the paperwork and the actual process of buying or selling? That's always the part I dread.
That's where AI is stepping in too. Think about all those documents, contracts, compliance checks.
Yeah,
That can be overwhelming.
it is.
AI can actually streamline that entire transaction management process,
Really?
digitizing documents, tracking progress, and even flagging potential issues.
So less chance of something going wrong because someone missed a signature or a deadline?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that means less stress and more peace of mind for everyone involved. AI's accuracy and efficiency in transaction management are changing the game.
Okay, this is all pretty mind-blowing. So far, it sounds like AI is making the whole real estate process smoother and more efficient. But what about the human side of things? Does AI take the emotion out of it? Buying or selling a home is a big deal. It's not just a transaction.
You're right. There's a huge emotional component to real estate,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where human agents, I think, still play a vital role.
Okay.
AI can handle the data, the logistics, the paperwork,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the human agent who provides that personal touch, that understanding of your individual needs and aspirations.
So it's not about AI versus humans. It's about AI working with humans to create a better experience.
Absolutely.
But there's got to be more to this story, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've only just scratched the surface.
Well, I'm definitely hooked.
Mhm.
We'll be back in a flash to dig deeper into how AI is shaping the future of Australian real estate.
Welcome back. Before we jumped into this deep dive, you mentioned that you were curious about how AI might be impacting buyers' agents.
Yeah, I've always wondered if using a buyer's agent is worth it. Does AI change things for them too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just like we talked about with traditional agents, AI is giving buyers' agents powerful new tools.
Okay.
Imagine being able to instantly sift through every single property listing,
Wow.
not just the ones that happen to be online at that moment.
Right.
AI can do that.
Yeah.
It can analyze data points way faster than a human ever could.
So buyer's agents can say, see y'all later, to those late nights spent scouring websites and chasing down leads.
It's more about working smarter, not harder.
Mm.
AI helps buyers agents really target their search more effectively,
Yeah.
factoring in all those details that matter to you.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about budget and location.
Hmm.
AI can analyze things like school zones, proximity to parks, even things like noise levels and traffic patterns to find those hidden gems that you might not even know to look for.
Wow, so it's almost like having a personalized scout digging up those perfect properties. But wouldn't that take the fun out of the search? Part of the excitement is like stumbling across a place you didn't even know existed.
That's a great point. And that's something that a good buyer's agent will always keep in mind.
Okay.
AI is a tool. It's not a replacement for human intuition and experience.
Right.
A skilled buyer's agent will use AI to narrow the field, but they'll also be open to those serendipitous discoveries
Yeah,
that sometimes happen when you are out exploring a neighborhood.
that makes me feel better. I don't want to lose that sense of adventure. But speaking of adventure, what about those places that are up and coming, those neighborhoods that haven't quite hit the radar yet? Can AI help with that?
That's where AI gets really interesting.
Oh,
It can analyze market trends, identify areas with growth potential, even predict which neighborhoods are likely to see an increase in value over time.
oh, wow.
So yes, a buyer's agent armed with AI insights could definitely help you get ahead of the curve.
Okay, but you mentioned predictions earlier. How much can we really trust AI when it comes to forecasting the future of the market? I mean, there are so many factors that could come into play.
You're right. Predicting the future is never an exact science. But what AI can do is analyze vast amounts of data,
Okay.
economic indicators, demographic shifts, infrastructure projects, even things like social media trends
Really?
to identify patterns and probabilities. It's like having a crystal ball
Uh-huh.
that's based on real data, not
Mhm.
just guesswork.
So it's not about knowing for sure what will happen. It's about having more information to make a calculated decision.
Exactly. And a good buyer's agent will help you interpret that information,
Right.
weigh the risks and rewards,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately make a decision that's right for you.
It sounds like AI is really shifting the power dynamic, giving buyers more leverage. But with all this talk about data, I have to ask, how do we know our information is safe? It seems like there are data breaches happening all the time these days.
Data security is a huge concern,
Yeah.
and it's something that reputable AI companies take very seriously.
Okay.
Look for companies that use encryption and have strong security protocols in place, and always be cautious about what personal information you share online.
So it's about doing your research just like you would with any other major decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And remember, you always have the right to ask questions about how your data is being used and protected.
Well.
Now let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about how AI is changing the way properties are marketed.
Okay, back to the fun stuff. You mentioned virtual tours earlier.
Yes.
Those are already pretty cool. But is AI making them even more mind-blowing?
Definitely, AI is taking virtual tours to a whole new level.
Like what?
Imagine not just walking through a virtual space, but being able to interact with it.
Oh.
Change the paint colors, swap out furniture, even see how different lighting would affect the mood of a room.
Wait, so I could virtually redecorate a whole house before I even make an offer?
Uh-huh.
That's amazing.
And it's not just for fun. This level of interactivity can help buyers really visualize themselves living in a space.
Right.
It's about moving beyond those static images and creating a truly immersive experience.
And for sellers, I imagine this is a huge plus too.
Absolutely. Think about it. No more expensive staging costs.
Yeah.
No more worries about keeping the house spotless for showings.
Right.
AI can virtually stage a property to highlight its best features and appeal to a wider range of buyers.
Okay, but what about actually seeing the property in person? Is that becoming a thing of the past?
Not necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but AI is changing how we experience those in-person viewings.
Okay.
Remember augmented reality, which we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
Imagine using your phone or tablet to scan a property
Uh-huh.
and see real-time information overlaying on the image.
So I could be standing in the kitchen and see things like the energy efficiency rating of the appliances or the history of renovations. That would be so cool.
And it's not just about facts and figures. Imagine seeing how the garden would look in different seasons,
Oh, wow.
or visualizing how an extension could change the flow of the house.
It's like having X-ray vision for real estate. But with all this focus on technology, it's important to remember that real estate is still about people, right?
Absolutely, and that's something that will never change. Technology can enhance the process, make it more efficient, more informative,
Yeah.
but ultimately it's about connecting people with places that they will love calling home.
Okay, I'm officially sold on the power of AI in real estate, but I know there's more to this story. What else do we need to consider as AI becomes even more intertwined with the world of buying and selling property?
That's a great question, and it leads us to some really important discussions.
Well, I'm ready to dive deeper. We'll be right back after a quick break.
We've been talking about all the cool things that AI can do in real estate,
Right.
but I think it's also important to consider some of the potential downsides.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Is there anything we should be wary of as AI becomes more prevalent in the industry?
I think so. Accessibility is a big one.
Okay.
We don't want to see a situation where only the big real estate companies can afford to use AI.
Right.
And that leaves smaller agencies and independent agents at a disadvantage.
That would create a real imbalance in the market, wouldn't it? Almost like a digital divide.
Exactly. So it's important to advocate for policies and initiatives that ensure that AI is accessible to everyone in the real estate ecosystem. And that includes providing training and support so that agents can adapt and thrive in this new landscape.
Because AI is changing so fast, right? Keeping up with the latest advancements must be a challenge.
It definitely requires a commitment to ongoing learning.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the most exciting aspects of this field.
Okay.
There's always something new to discover.
Right.
Some new way that AI is being applied to make the process of buying, selling, or even just understanding real estate more efficient and transparent.
So it's not about fearing the technology. It's about embracing the possibilities and finding ways to harness its power for good.
Exactly. And that brings us to another crucial point, the need for ongoing dialogue and collaboration.
Okay.
As AI evolves, it's essential that we keep talking about the ethical implications,
Yeah.
the potential risks, and the best ways to ensure that AI is used responsibly and for the benefit of everyone.
It sounds like it's a balancing act, finding that sweet spot where we can embrace the power of AI without losing sight of the human element of real estate.
It's a journey, and we are all on it together.
Yeah.
Buyers, sellers, agents, developers, policymakers, we all have a role to play in shaping the future of real estate in the age of AI.
Well, I have to say this deep dive has been a real eye-opener. I feel like I've gone from feeling a little apprehensive about AI to being genuinely excited about the possibilities. It's amazing to think how much things have already changed and how much more is yet to come.
It is a fascinating time to be involved in real estate, that's for sure.
Uh-huh.
And who knows what incredible advancements we will be talking about in our next deep dive.
I won't wait to find out. But for now, we've reached the end of our exploration of AI in the Australian real estate market. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time for another fascinating journey into the world of knowledge.